Hey everyone, I am so excited to share this exercise with you because I think it may be truly the secret to restoring your feet, ending foot pain forever, and improving how your ankles, knees, hips, pelvic floor, even spine feel and work. Your feet are designed to twist and untwist. So very much like this little bag I've got, your feet should be able to twist and they should be able to untwist. And that's a pattern that they should do when you walk. And that pattern should travel all the way up into your hips and really into your spine and upper body too, to some extent. Many of us have lost this pattern. So if you have very flat feet, you're stuck in the untwisted version of the pattern, which is called pronation. If you have very high arch, sticky feet, you're stuck in the supinated pattern. And even if you're not stuck in one of the patterns, you probably don't have access to the full range because most of our feet are weak and sticky and stiff. Now, hopefully you've done the mobility exercise in my previous video because that'll help unstick your feet. But now what we're gonna do is we're gonna help repattern your feet. So if you have high, sore, painful arches, you will love this exercise. If you have flat, floppy feet, you will love this exercise too. It is about teaching your brain and your feet to travel from one end of the twist to the other, and it will repattern and change how you move in a wonderful way. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so what we're gonna do in this exercise is teach your body to travel through pronation and supination and then back to pronation, which is what happens when we walk. I'm gonna show you full body first so you can kind of get a sense of what's going on. I'm gonna take a small step forward, not one where I feel unbalanced, so you might need to widen your feet here, that's okay. Small step forward, and you wanna make sure your front knee is behind your front heel. So it's called a negative shin angle, if you wanna get technical. And all you're gonna do for this exercise is you're gonna travel that knee forward towards your big toe, so a little bit inwards of maybe where you've been told to travel that knee, and then you're gonna pull it back out. You can change your stance a little bit if you're feeling like you'd like to. You're gonna travel forward, and you're squishing that front foot as you travel forward, and you're gonna travel back. So our focus right now is on the front foot. The back foot is probably responding as well, and I'm gonna talk about that. But it's nice to just focus on one at a time because we're repatterning, and that's a lot to think about for our brains. So the front foot, as we move our knee forward, is trying to pronate. It's got mass of your body on top of it, so it's getting squashed, and that's what we want. We want your foot to squish and flatten and untwist and widen here. And as we travel our knee back, we want our foot to kind of suction cup off the ground. So the suction cup is a little bit of a twist, and it's also a lift, and your foot should narrow. Now, you might be trying this already and being like, nothing is happening. And that is often what happens at first when we're learning a new pattern. So don't let that upset you. What you can think about is you're gonna start by thinking about your weight in the outer back heel of your right foot. We're still gonna work on our right foot. Take your brain there, feel the weight. Travel your knee forward. Feel how the weight of your upper body is being pulled by your knee, and notice how my upper body is staying straight up and down here. I'm not leaning forward. That upper body weight is being pulled forward by my knee and starting to travel through my midfoot, maybe a little bit over my toes. Now, if you go so far forward that your toes start to grip and wrinkle, that's too far forward. So you kind of want to just be right over that foot. Your weight is almost all in the right foot now. You could lift your left foot off, no problem. And then you're traveling back just by straightening the knee. Feel the weight roll back over your heel. So this is a repatterning exercise where you're trying to be mindful and notice what's happening in your foot. I'm basically moving straight forward with my upper body. I'm traveling forward. My knee is coming in a little bit. And that, again, is to exaggerate the movement of my weight over my body, and also because our knees do kind of come in a little bit as we walk, and that's okay. As I pull back, I'm supinating. This is what my flat-footed people may need to practice more. But the pronation here, where we're squishing our feet, not only is that what my high arch friends need to practice the most, But it's the squish, it's the lengthening on the bottom of the foot that allows the shortening to happen in supination. So we all need both. It's magical. This is one exercise that can work on both patterns. Let me show you a different angle and give you a few more tips. Okay, so from the front, what's happening here, you're not going to see as much as you do from the side, I don't think, but I'm just bending my knee. I'm pulling my upper body forward with my knee. I'm pulling my weight forward. That weight is squishing down on my front foot, and then I'm going to pull back into my supination, and I'm going to travel forward and squish. I'm going to travel back and pull like so. Let's do a close-up, and I'm going to again show you a few little tips here. Okay, so for pronation, that's where you're squishing your foot down, it's untwisting. Couple of little pointers here. Number one, especially if you're high arched, it might not happen right away that your foot squishes like mine. Mine's nice and squishy because I do this a lot and because my feet naturally are pretty squishy. So if you are really stuck in that high arch, I would recommend taking a small folded towel. A sock works really well for this, and just pop it underneath your arch. It's a feedback tool. It's not supposed to hold your arch up. It's supposed to give your brain something to squash. So I want you to imagine that it's a bug and you want to squish it under your foot. That's actually probably pretty gross, so don't do that. Imagine it's something you don't mind squishing. Imagine it's a raspberry. It wouldn't be terrible to squish a raspberry. So you're going to squish it, feel it as your knee comes forward. You're trying to soften into it. And then as you pull back into supination, feel your foot come off it. And so yeah, this is a great tip for a person with a lower arch, because then as you come forward, you're still going to feel yourself pressure into it more. And then as you come off, you're going to feel yourself pulling back off it. So that is amazing because it will give your brain some feedback about what we're looking for from our foot. Okay, now I just want to show you a couple more tips. So when we are coming forward into this pronation, we're trying to squish down, we are trying to create this particular shape with our foot where our heel is rolling in a certain direction. And we want to encourage that roll. So that's why we're squishing down on the foot. Our heel bone moves as we do this. Our heel bone lifts up on the outside and the back. So this is where you can use your rolled up towel or your wedge, if you have one, to encourage a little bit more movement. So you might find that a wedge behind the back corner of your heel helps you get more of that squishy pronation feeling. So that is an option. Now there's lots of options with wedging, and I don't think this is the place to show you all of the options. I just wanted to show you that one because it's quite helpful for pronation. So it could be, and I'll show you with the wedge as well, it could be on the side to help you kind of roll inwards more. I'll show you from this angle. So to help you roll inwards more, it could be behind your heel. Also will help that kind of like heel lift up as you go back. That's part of the heels movement. And it could be at this like 45-degree angle. And you're gonna find the one that helps you feel like you're getting the most movement out of your foot, okay? So that's a pronation wedge option. Okay, so when you're working on your supination, you might notice that your whole foot likes to roll up and to the side. And it's often going to be kind of that inside edge of your foot that rolls off. It might be your pinky toe joint as well. But if you're finding that that whole inside edge of your foot likes to roll up and off the ground, because you want to keep a nice solid base under your big toe and under your heel. If you're finding that it tends to roll off, well, guess what? You're going to add your little bit of support here. So I'm going to put my cloth underneath my big toe and my big toe joint. I'm going to put a little wedge underneath my heel. And now I'm really giving myself some support in my supination. So this is going to make the pronation part a little harder, but if what you want to do is work on your supination, that's okay. So you can kind of play with it. There's no magic to this exercise. There's just lots of practice and exploring. So you could think of this more like a foot meditation than like going to the gym. You're teaching your foot to move in these novel ways. So what I would do is I would start by really focusing in on my pronation. Get really squishy a couple of times. Maybe I've added my pronation wedge so I can really squish down. And now I know that I've got some capacity to spring back into. Can you see how my foot's lifting through there? So that's what I don't want. So I've done my pronation. I'm going to take away my pronation wedge. I'm going to add some support to bolster my supination, and then I'm just going to work on that. And my foot now has something to contact as I pull back. So I'm still going through the pronation phase. I'm just giving myself support for the supination so I get better supination out of it. Okay? Okay, so now that we've gone technical, let's come back out and go over the main points of this exercise. This one, like for example, the CARs I teach in my Joints for Life program, you will understand more when you practice it more. So I understand that at the beginning of your learning curve, it's frustrating and you try it and you don't really know what's going on and you get annoyed. I certainly do. Maybe you're better than me. That is totally possible. I get annoyed. I've been doing this exercise pretty much daily for pretty much a year now, and I feel like it continues to give me benefits and help my feet. And there's a lot of variations of it, and those variations will become accessible to you as you start to understand the basics. So I encourage you to learn this exercise and practice it daily about 10 times a day on each foot. It will only give you benefits. And then obviously follow my work to get more tips on how to change and advance it. Let's go over it again. You've taken a fairly small step. You're not feeling wobbly. Your back heel may come off the ground as you move your body weight forward. Your knee bends and it pulls the rest of your body with it. So you're not leaning forward with your upper body. You are being pulled by your knee bending towards your front big toe. Your knee starts behind your heel, and as it bends, it pulls your body weight from the back outside of your front heel towards the front of your heel and into the arch and forefoot of the front foot. As you pull back, your whole foot suction cups up. As you come forward, your foot squishes and flattens down. Your body stays upright. Your knee points in a little bit. That's fine. You're going to come back out. As you come back out, your weight returns to the outside edge of that front foot. If you don't feel it there, try changing your pelvis position a little bit to get it there, to start there. Feel the weight of your body go over your heel bone. Your heel bone is moving as you do this exercise, and it should be moving because that's what triggers this pronation response in the foot. And then you're going to come back to supination. Again, do this about 10 times on each foot. And then just go for a little walk, like literally around your house. Feel what it feels like. You could do one foot and then the other one, feel what it feels like. So this is brain repatterning. It's good to give your brain a chance to feel the work that you just did. Use wedging if you feel like that could help you, and experiment with wedging because this is a learning process type exercise. So this is the opposite of what the internet likes to give you. I know it's technical, it's non-specific, and it's gonna take you a long time to figure out, but I know you can do this, and this one is truly game-changing. It will support the function and health of your whole body, because if your foot is moving well as you walk, so too will your knees and hips and spine have an opportunity to move well as you walk. So it is very game-changing. Give it the time. Get in touch with me if you have questions, and let me know how it goes. Okay? Cheers.